Hey guys, welcome to this reading. In this pick a card reading, we are going to be exploring who is your spirit animal guide and what is their message to you currently. Now, I just want to say that we can have, many different types of spirit animal guides. We can have spirit animal guides who are with us for a lifetime. Some people call those like your power animals, or you can have spirit animal messenger guides who just come into your life to give you a message, and so there are different types or ways that spirit animals can connect with us. So for some of you, maybe this would be your power animal. For others of you, this may just be a messenger who is here to present a message to you. So you would just need to be in touch with your own intuition as far as that goes. But all of these spirit animals are giving you a message that you do need in the moment. Of course, if the message doesn't seem to resonate for you, that's okay. I mean, sometimes we watch these kinds of videos and that happens. But I do try to hold the intention that everyone who views the video will get something important out of it. Now I am going to shuffle and create 6 stacks, and I am going to do that on video. I don't always do that because it adds considerably to the length of the video, and these videos take at least 24 hours to upload anyway. My upload speed is not terrific. In case you've never tried to upload a video, uploading takes much longer than downloading. Yeah, so it's like every 10 minutes of video takes an hour or more of uploading time. But I am a little bit inspired by the Pegasus Oracle. So if you haven't checked out her channel, she's a great person to check out. I have a lot of different YouTube readers who I really appreciate watching. If you want to look in the description box, I'll mention some other readers that I would recommend as well. And there are others I've mentioned in previous videos as well. There are probably people who I watch who I'm not even thinking about, which doesn't mean that I've forgotten about you. But I'll just, bring attention to some people who I really appreciate, whose work I really appreciate. So in any case, if you want to watch me create these stacks, you can. If not, of course, look at the timestamps in the description box and at the top of the comments, and you can fast forward to the moment when all of the stacks have been prepared. That way you can go ahead and pick your stack and go into your reading. So if you want to stick around for this, I'm going to be working with a lot of decks. So in terms of getting the actual animal, I'm going to be using the Animal Totem Tarot by Lisa Robertson and Eugene Smith, which is just a wonderful deck. It is like the typical 78 card tarot deck, but each card she associates with a particular animal. And I think the guidebook is so expertly written. And the images are also gorgeous. I definitely recommend this deck. So this will be the first card that's going to show up on the bottom of the stack. So when I turn the stack over, this will be the first card that I see. Whoops. I try to keep that in mind. Which card am I going to see first when I turn over the stack? And then sometimes I get confused. But you know it happens. Okay, and this is the Everyday Witch Tarot. This is kind of what the imagery of this deck looks like. There are cats on every single card, so if you're a cat lover or just a witchy person, you'll appreciate this deck. So I'll tell you a little about, I do offer spirit animal tarot readings. I'll tell you a little bit about those. It's actually my least expensive reading that I offer. But I think one of the most fun to do. So So how I do those, initially I receive an animal. Sometimes more than one animal will want to come forward. And I leave open the space that there might be like a spirit mineral or a spirit plant who might want to come open as well. So far since I've been doing these readings, that has not happened though, but I do often have like 2 spirit animals wanting to come forward for the same person. And in that case, you know, I will work with both of those spirit animals to bring forward the message. So, you know, the animal itself will come through to me intuitively, and it doesn't take, you know, I do past life readings as well, and I really have to go into meditation, and sometimes I have to go into meditation multiple times to get that past life imagery. But with the spirit animals, it's very easy. It just comes to me very quickly. I do find that for some reason, elephant wants to work with a lot of people. And so at some point I was just like, okay, elephant, I know you just love everybody, elephant. But I was like, we need to, you know, if elephant does come through, I always try to pull in a second spirit animal because I feel like, you know. And then once I have the animals, I use tarot to kind of get into the message of, you know, what that particular animal, what message they want to bring forward. I also do research on the animal, especially if it's an animal I'm not familiar with. I do research on what the meaning of that animal is. And sometimes that can be pretty difficult. Recently, I had someone order one of those readings, and the pterodactyl came forward, also known as the pterosaur. I guess they call it a pterosaur now instead of a pterodactyl. I'm not sure why that is. I think maybe because there are multiple species of dinosaur birds or something like that. I can't remember now, but I had to do a lot of research on it. But in terms of information online about what the actual spirit animal of the pterosaur means, there wasn't really anything out there. So I had to kind of like draw on my own intuition. And what I kind of ended up doing was thinking, well, you know, the pterosaur is going to have some of the general energy of bird. Of course, there are many, many, many types of birds, and each, you know, each bird species is going to have its own unique message, but there are some general characteristics of birds, I feel like, that they share in common. And I was like, I think, you know, I can find a little bit of information on the general energy also of dinosaurs, because they are this, you know, this ancient, you know, type of animal. They have that ancient energy. So you know, the dinosaur spirit animal at some level is about connecting with, you know, history from way, way in the past, ancient times. And then also they carry the energy of the reptile, general energy of reptiles. So that's kind of how I put together what the meaning of pterosaur was so that I could help her with her reading. I've never gotten more than 2 spirit animals coming forward to speak with someone, except on one occasion I had a woman who, they were just like, animals just kept coming and coming and coming. I think I cut it off at 4 because I was like, I can't, you know, like each animal I have to describe to the person, like, and like I said, sometimes that involves research if I'm not familiar with the animal. You know, like what is their spirit and animal message in general, and then I pull tarot additionally for each animal, trying to elaborate on what it is they want to address in your life, what's their message to you. So I really try to use the tarot to get into the heart of the message. But I had to cut it off at about 4, I think, is what I did. Oops. But there were so many animals wanting to come forward to her, and then she responded to me. I explained to her, I'm like, you know, there's so many animals wanted to come through. These are the first 4, and these are the ones that I took. But I did tell her at least the names of some of the other animals that wanted to come through in case she wanted to research them herself. And she said to me, she's like, I've been taking an animal intuition class, like a class for communicating with animals intuitively. psychically. And she said, you know, like, I've been having doubts that this is really a gift that I have. And she said, do you think that this is confirmation that this is the right path for me? And I said, yes, it definitely is confirmation, because I'd never experienced that before. And I still think about that. It wasn't too, I mean, it was a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe. I'm not good with time frames that I did this reading, so it wasn't that far in the past, but I still think about that because, you know, like, for one thing, I think a lot of us doubt our gifts, especially when it comes to psychic stuff, because we're kind of taught to doubt that anyway. You know, we don't live in a world that really embraces those gifts. But yeah, I mean, I'd never had anyone who had so many spirit animals wanting to come forward. To me, it definitely served as confirmation that she is a natural channel for, you know, animal messages, whether it's from spirit animals or, you know, living breathing animals. So these last 2 decks, this is the Keepers of the Light deck by Kyle Gray. And this is just kind of what those images look like. And this one, this blue deck, also from Kyle Gray, the Angel Prayers Oracle cards. Now, I will say that I like this Keepers of the Light deck much better, but I do just like all of his decks. I think he does a good job with them. That's kind of what the Angel Prayers deck, those images look like. Turn this around. And this is the Indigo Angels decks. We're having a lot of angels help us bring forward these messages today from our spirit animals. This is the Oracle of the Mermaids. I believe this is Lucy Cavendish. I'm pretty sure. And her images all have mermaids, so when those come up in the reading, it will be pretty apparent to you which deck that is. So. All right. And then the last deck we're going to use is the Blessed Bee Oracle deck. This is what those images look like. we are. All right, so guys, if you skipped the shuffling process, here we are with your 6 reading options. We have number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So take a moment. You might want to take a deep breath, get centered. Sometimes when I'm picking, everyone's going to have a different method. So trust your own process, because your intuitive process is not going to be the same as anyone else's necessarily. But I will say lately I've been finding when I watch pick-a-cards, I will kind of close my eyes and just allow Spirit to tell me which reading, rather than actually looking at the cards at all. But whatever works for you. Sometimes I also just look at the numbers in the timestamps, and certain numbers just jump out at me. But whatever works for you, works for you. When you have chosen your reading, you can go and look at the timestamps at the top of the description, and also at the top of, in the description box and at the top of the comments. I'm going to go ahead and get into the readings. All right, so this is the reading for people who chose number 1. Your spirit animal is the giraffe, which is also in this deck the 3 of Pentacles. Now, I am going to consult with the Oracle guidebook in a moment, because I think it's so well written, but I don't want to just read out the Oracle message to you. I want to look at, all of what we've got coming through here. So we have the World card from the Everyday Witch Tarot, the Page of Pentacles from the Rider-Waite-Smith, Lord Shiva, Transcendence, Shine Your Light, Explore. Let's make sure I can get all of these cards in here. Dreams and a blessing from your ancestors. So I feel like in addition to the giraffe spirit animal, it could be that your ancestors are wanting to connect with you. Some of you might have ancestors in Africa, as the giraffe is an animal that lives and is found in Africa. So we're going to start I'll get into the giraffe itself, because I don't myself know what giraffe means, but Lisa Robertson, who created this deck, she will be able to tell us. But I don't want to start out just from reading from the Oracle book. But, do not fear. We will see more about what giraffe spirit animal is all about. But I do also want to say, I feel like, we have the World card, the Page of Pentacles, Explore, Shine Your Light, Dreams, Transcendence. I do feel like you guys are maybe working on pursuing something related to career and finances, and like finding your way in life. The Page of Pentacles is sort of at the beginning of some sort of career prospect or financial prospect. This can also be about a life purpose that is not necessarily a career, because not all life purposes are career or money oriented. So this card from Lord Shiva, it says, rise up, honor your inner force. Steps are being given, dance with the universe, which is interesting. Sometimes the World card is also called the universe. I've seen it called that in at least one deck before, but I think I've seen it in multiple decks. And then we have Shine Your Light. Thank you, Uriel, for helping me to share my light with the world. I really feel like, if you are working on something, you may be thinking of it just in terms of career or something financial, but I do feel like your spirit animal, the giraffe, is trying to tell you that whatever you're working on building in your life career-wise, this is a life purpose, and this is something that you need to explore more deeply. You need to follow your dreams. envision a real future for yourself regarding whatever this career path is, because it is something about how you are letting your soul's light shine into the world. And it is bringing you into this state of transcendence. It's sort of like raising your overall vibrations. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. Let me just see here. I want to feel out more about your ancestors. Like why or in what way are your ancestors helping you with this as well? Okay, they definitely have a lot that they want to teach you, again, about shining your light. We have the Hierophant and the Sun, and about finding your joy in life as well. You have the solar energy here, the solar energy here on this card as well. We have solar energy and lunar energy, actually. We have like a real balance of masculine and feminine. And I see like the moon as representing more the soul and the sun as representing more spirit. And so you might be asking, what is the difference between the two of those? I've thought about making a video on that because that has been a question that I've asked myself too throughout the years. I think it's a little bit confusing, but I don't know. I feel like the soul is almost like our record keeper or our memory bank that we carry from lifetime to lifetime. Spirit is kind of what like invigorates us and gives us life. It's also how we connect to the divine, sort of. So I feel like our soul is probably a little bit more to do with our own personal identity that we carry from lifetime to lifetime. And spirit is kind of like this vitalizing energy. Like if you think of the sun as germinating a seed, I feel like the seed is more like the soul, and the sun's energy bringing life to that seed, that's more like what spirit is. So I feel like we definitely have both of those. I feel that your ancestors are wanting to work with you because they have knowledge and they can provide you with a certain amount of guidance in terms of how to allow whatever this seed is. The Page of Pentacles, I often see the pentacles as representing sort of seeds, like seeds of potential. And this page realizes that he has this gift, this talent that can be planted and that can bear fruit. Your ancestors are really wanting to work with you, and your guides and angels are all wanting to work with you to progress in whatever this is so that you can bear fruit in this area. So you're hearing Coco, my cat, meowing in the background, as usual. Let's just see. I am curious what giraffe spirit animal is all about. If I can find it in the book. I think I've read about this once before in the book, and it's something about the neck. So the throat chakra, also how you communicate, is really important for people with giraffe spirit animal because they have these long necks. It's sort of like the long neck is one of their strengths, right? Because it gives them this height, like a higher perspective. And it gives them access to the source of their fuel. But it also is the most vulnerable part of their body at the same time. So I think at some level, I'm going to read from the book as well, but I think at some level the message is that as you're pursuing this career path, like this path that you're pursuing is your greatest strength, but it is also a source of vulnerability for you. Okay, I'm just going to read the whole message because I just feel like she did such a beautiful job of creating this book that it would be, I would be shortchanging you by not doing that. Okay, so there's an opening quote, which is just a message from the giraffe. There is nothing wrong with keeping your eye on the prize, but keep in mind that this is only one part of attaining what you require. Lift your head and look towards where your goal or dream is and start walking towards it, which I feel like you guys are already doing. You're already in that Page of Pentacles energy. As you walk, you will meet others along the way who will be willing to assist you. Your ancestors, for example. Take advantage of all that is offered to you, as you will never get to where you want to be on your own. Attaining goals is a team effort. Remember this, and you will be amply rewarded. The giraffe is best known for its incredibly long neck. This unique bone structure is both a blessing and a curse for the poor giraffe, as most of the giraffe's injuries are in its neck, and these injuries can become fatal very quickly. Yes, the most impressive thing about this beautiful animal is its most vulnerable flaw. This is much like getting lost in one's own personal vision. If that is all you are ever focused on, you allow yourself to become a vulnerable target. The Three of Pentacles wants you to reach your goals, but it wants you to be aware that standing still and daydreaming is both dangerous and a waste of energy. Threes are about manifesting, but you don't manifest alone, you need help. Manifestation is about collaboration, and the giraffe knows all about this. Don't just stick your neck out, instead stretch to see what resources are available to you at this time and then move toward them. But I do feel also, like talking about the strength of having that vision, I feel like that is part of the message as well. Like with dreams here, you have these dreams, and I do feel like you need to utilize the visioning that you are so good at. So yes, it is a strength of the giraffe as well that you can have these visions, but it's also, you're also being pressed to really put those visions into action. So in this book, she gives an oracle message for 3 areas of life: business and career, family and relationships, health and well-being. And I'm going to read all of those, even though this seems to me more a message related to business and career, because it could be that giraffe wants to help you with other areas as well. So we'll just see what the book says. No matter how tempting, now is not the time to take your eyes off your long-term goals. Make sure your daily goals are moving you closer to where you want to be and not into the danger of distraction. So in terms of pursuing a business and career goal, do something on a daily basis that gets you closer to those long-term goals. Have a good grasp on what the final outcome would be, which is the World card's energy. Like when you finally made it, so to speak, what does that look like? And then you can create more short-term goals that you can try to pursue on a daily basis. And sometimes, like, I know from my own experience, sometimes what I need to do on a daily basis is take a rest. And that is what gets me closer to my goal, because you can get burnt out as well. So it doesn't mean that you have to be like wearing yourself to the point of exhaustion either. But keeping your long-term goals in mind each day, think to yourself, like, what would be the best thing for me to do now in order to reach those long-term goals? So for family and relationships, teamwork always gets things done faster and with less energy. Find people around you who will assist you in your goals today. This may mean using your social time to meet new people who also want similar things to yourself. Okay, so I feel like she's still addressing kind of like, going after your goals, which it could still be business and financial goals, but she's saying just surround you with people basically who are supportive and will assist you in making your dreams come true. For health and well-being, it says your body, mind, and soul are a team. In order for you to achieve your divine purpose here on the physical plane, they all need to be working together. Check in and make sure your thoughts, feelings, and intentions are in alignment with what you say you want. I want to read the journal prompts as well, because this might bring up questions that are really helpful to you in really exploring more deeply what Giraffe is trying to say to you personally. What safeguards will you put in place to make sure you stay safe and on course? What resources are you missing right now, and how will you go about acquiring them? Who are your biggest fans, and how do you honor their ongoing support? So again, those are 3 questions that you can think about for yourself to make this message from Giraffe even more personal to you and to be even more helpful to you as you pursue whatever these long-term goals are. So I really hope that that was helpful to you guys. And like and subscribe if you haven't already, guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, people who chose reading number 2. Ooh, your spirit animal is the penguin, which is represented by the 10 of Cups in Tarot. We also have the 5 of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, lots of different energies coming through here. We have Dwal Cool, Dharma unfolding. Remember that you are on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. The 10 of Cups is all about happiness. Trust your vibes. Health. Time and tide, and then a blessing on the children. So I do feel like, first of all, I'm going to try to, we're going to get into more of the energy of like, what is penguin spirit animal about just in general. And we're going to consult with this guidebook here that goes along with that tarot deck in order to do that. But I don't want to start off the reading just reading from a guidebook. And I do also want to explore a little bit more just what I'm getting from the cards as a whole in terms of what Penguin is trying to say to you. You know, I do feel like, you know, we have a blessing on the children, and then we have the 10 of Cups. I do feel, and then our Dharma is just like our responsibilities in life. You know, we have the 5 of Pentacles also, which is a woman, and it looks like her son probably struggling through the soul, struggling through the snow. And so I feel like this has to do with creating more happiness and joy in your family life and nurturing young people. We have young people here, like we have this baby goat. You know, we have a child here. We have this baby penguin. So I feel like part of the message is about how can you achieve what you need to achieve to create the most joy in your family, to create a happy family life and to create a blessed life for children if you have children. But I also feel like it's about how to find a balance between the needs of the children in your life or your family members and then your own personal needs, because the Queen of Swords is actually a very different energy. You know, she's kind of like single on her own. She's very independent. This is someone who needs like her own space. We also have time and tide. And I feel like, you know, in this image, I feel like this is representing someone, again, who just like needs space to kind of think about things and connect with her own inner self. We also have health. And in this particular deck, this is represented by these scales being balanced out. So I do feel like you're trying to figure out what is going to be the healthiest thing for you in terms of how much to give to your family members and how much, you know, time and energy to devote to their happiness, and then how much time and energy to devote to your own happiness. I feel like part of the message is like what it says here, like take one step at a time to happiness. You do have a responsibility to the happiness of your family members, but you also have a responsibility to the happiness of your own self, you know, and it's not selfish to realize that you have your own individual needs. You know, and I feel like you can, if you feel like it is selfish to focus on your own needs sometimes, I feel like this Trust Your Vibes card, it says, thank you, angels. Today I choose to trust my intuition and your guidance. She has this beautiful heart chakra energy going on here. I feel like, you know, if you're doubting whether or not you are acting in a loving way, I feel like Spirit is saying that you are. You have this very beautiful, loving energy. And just because you need to maybe take a time out here and there To focus on your own personal needs does not mean that you're not a loving person. It's really just about finding that balance between your own needs and those of loved ones. So for some of you, that might not be family, and it specifically might not be children. Although with the cards that are showing up here, I think for a lot of you, it does have to do with children. But definitely loved ones. So whatever that means for you, that could even be friends. So let's read what she says about the penguin. This first part here is a message from the penguin spirit animal. It says, love, trust, and support are important elements to our penguin culture. Without them, we would end up alone or in the jaws of one of our many predators. Yet despite the many dangers we face on a regular day, the most dangerous of all is being alone when the winter winds whip into our homes. Without the love and protection of our community, we would never last and our way of life would be no more. The Ten of Cups is often referred to as the happily ever after card, for after the emotional journey through the Suit of Cups, you come to the end and all is well. But it is not just about happily ever after. It is about mastering your emotions, learning self-love, and working with self-care, and understanding that you never journey alone. Penguins are a great totem for anyone who needs to move from the shadows of the solo journey and step into the awaiting light of community. So interesting, because we're talking about, again, like that dichotomy between focus on self and then the focus on the needs of other people. Here, the book is saying something similar but slightly different to what the message was that I was getting, which is, maybe you feel alone. Maybe it's, for some of you, it's not that you're struggling to find time to be alone, but maybe you feel like you have too much time alone and you're being reminded that actually you do have the support of other people, the support of your family, the support of community. Let's see. Anyway, penguins are a great totem for anyone who needs to move from the shadows of the solo journey and step into the awaiting light of community. Penguins cannot survive on their own. They must be with others in order to live and thrive. This is really the lesson of the Ten of Cups. It's kind of the lesson of the Five of Pentacles card as well. Going through this difficult winter scene, these people need each other to survive. It is great to walk out of the shadows, but know that what you have achieved is not just for yourself, but for those around you as well. Now, in this book, she has messages for business and career. She has a message for family and relationships and for health and well-being. I'm going to read all of those, even though I feel like she's speaking more to family and relationships, because there may be a message for you guys in multiple of these areas of life from the penguin. So for business and career, this card indicates a time that will benefit all those you work with. A time of overflowing creativity and joy are about to come your way. If you have been working on a project or trying to land a client, know that this will all end on a very positive note. For family and relationships, the Ten of Cups in a relationship reading is an auspicious card. It shows that you are entering a time of joy, maybe even bliss. Keep in mind that this current state of being came because of the work and commitment you have made to your relationships. Shift your focus and all of this newfound happiness will slip right through your fingers. Okay. Well, that last sentence took it all for a little bit of a negative turn there. So I think they're just saying, stay focused on being committed to this joy. Just because you've gotten to that state of bliss and joy doesn't mean it's going to last forever if you do not, again, like pay attention to your dharma. What is your responsibility here? Health and well-being. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath. You deserve your current healthy, happy glow. You have reached a good point in your healing journey. But remember that in order for this to continue, you need to keep up the good work. So card of the day journal prompts. I'm also going to read these out to you guys. And these are questions that perhaps will help guide you, that you can think about on your own to really guide you deeper into what Penguin's specific message might be for you beyond what I'm saying here in this general video. What does it mean to have a happy, healthy life? So think about what that means to you. How do you deal with your life when things are this good? Are you able to celebrate your victories while still finding ways to move forward? So questions you might want to ask yourself to make this even more personal to you. So folks who chose reading number 2, I hope you really appreciated that and found it helpful. Like and subscribe if you want to see my future videos. And guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, this is the reading for people who chose number 3. Oh, you got the Sun card, and I do not know the name of this animal, but let me find out for you. Let me see. Sorry. Oh, this is the lemur. Okay. All right, so the Sun card is represented by the lemur, and we'll get into in just a moment what the lemur spirit animal is all about. So we also have the High Priestess, the 6 of Swords. We have Master Jesus, Archangel Raphael, the Divine Physician. We have Allow Love, Freedom, and a blessing on your health. Okay, so before I get into the Oracle Book message and we can find out more about what the lemur spirit animal means, I do want to just look at the other cards on the table and try to kind of interpret what the message might be. And then the book, I think, will help us get further into it. But I feel like there's a lot of energies going on here, but the first thing I get is, we have a blessing on your health, and then we have the 6 of Swords. So I often feel that the 6 of Swords is about healing. We also get forgiveness. And so a lot of times our healing process is more mental. The swords also represent our mind, our mentality. And so it could be that the lemur, here representing the sun, which is all about joy and happiness, could be that lemur wants to help you heal yourself mentally. If you have been stuck and not being able to forgive other people, you are going to be achieving greater health in terms of your mentality towards the people that you are having a difficult time forgiving. We also have the Divine Physician. I didn't even notice that, but there's more like healing energy here. It says, thank you, Raphael, for shining your divine light upon my healthy body. We also have a lot of green energy. I do believe that Raphael in general is associated with more of a green energy, and then we have a lot of green energy here in the Allow Love with this beautiful heart. To me, that's a lot of heart chakra energy, which is associated with the color green. And our heart chakra is going to be more healed, the more able we are to forgive. Even here on the Master Jesus card, we have this, it's a blue sphere, but it's right at the level of his heart chakra. That chakra is really going to expand and be more active and vibrant and alive the more, forgiveness we're able to achieve. And so I feel like, even this lemur, it's like he's got his arms out to the side and he's opening his chest up to the sun. It's like opening yourself up to healing right now. It's going to be helpful to you. And I feel like with this freedom card, part of the message is that like this act of forgiveness brings you greater freedom. It frees you from this sort of bondage that you've had towards whatever this anger or resentment or lack of forgiveness has been. You know, maybe you might be thinking that you want to free yourself through being angry. There's a lot of red, fiery energy here, which is, you know, maybe wanting to be rebellious towards people who have wronged you. But you're being asked to get more into the like green and pink energies of the heart chakra and to really touch base with that act of forgiveness. I'm not really sure what the High Priestess card is saying here. I'm going to pull some other cards to help me understand that. Everything else seems to be working together. I feel like I understand the message. What is the High Priestess saying? I mean, of course, the High Priestess is about our intuition, and so you maybe already have having some intuitive insights about whatever this healing and forgiving process is. No, okay, we get the Devil. Definitely, you are very attached to someone who has hurt you. There is a sense of attachment. You want freedom from this situation. But I feel like you're trying to find that freedom through this like kind of anger, like maybe expressing a lot of anger towards that person. And instead of giving you that freedom, it's actually creating even greater, it's like you're being bound to this situation that's caused you so much pain, and you can't find this freedom from it unless you learn how to forgive. You know, these cards are not really helping me to understand the High Priestess energy, but I am drawn to like the imagery of, we have the black candle and the white candle in the background. So I feel like whoever this is, I mean, I feel like this is someone who you do love, and it's sort of like, I feel like there's light energy here, and there's also shadow energy at work, because this person also loves you, but they have definitely wronged you in some significant way. And I feel like you want to see your way out of it, because this is someone who's maybe a family member, because it's someone who, the Ten of Pentacles often indicates family. It's like there's like a lot of codependence here. It's like you can't escape this person, perhaps because they are family. But you want to envision, you do envision, or you can see the way out of this, because you can see that in the future there could be a more balanced, you know, I feel like, so the devil card is associated with the sign of Capricorn, which is earth energy. Pentacles are also earth energy, but the Ten of Pentacles is so much of a healthier earth energy than the Devil card, because you don't have this attachment here. People are living together in a way that is mutually supportive. They're not tied together in this very restrictive, codependent way. They are, interconnected into each other's lives, but it's in a way in which everyone is supported. Everyone's needs are supported. So I feel like whoever this is that you're needing to forgive, we have the Six of Swords showing this as well. I feel like you can kind of intuitively see the way forward in whatever this situation is, and how you can forgive them more fully, how you can get to more of this place of where you can be at ease with them and not have this anger in your heart, but still have those necessary boundaries. I feel like that's kind of what I'm getting. So let's look at what the guidebook says and see if it kind of, see if it sort of stacks up against the message we've already gotten. In the first two readings, it really did. So it could be that it does here, and it could be that we just have a whole additional message in addition to what I've already said. So she starts out this guidebook message with a message from the lemur, and it says, "Are you ready to stand in the full light of your own magnificence? Does the light bother you or draw you to it? The light is interesting, as not all can reside under it. I am the only one of my kind that actually ventures out into the light. The rest of my cousins prefer the shadows and the cloaking magic of the dark. But for me, the energy of the sun not only warms my body so I can live, but it energizes my soul. Because of this, you will find me honoring its presence in my life each and every day, as it is important to honor that which gives us life. So that's interesting, because we were talking about the light versus the shadow. And again, you may have family members. He's talking here about other members of the other, lemur species, I guess, but of preferring the darkness. You might have family members who prefer to dwell in the, quote unquote darkness as well, and you prefer to dwell in the light. And so there's a very difficult, relationship with those people, because, like, how do you, obviously you love, your family, or, sometimes it's very difficult to love our family, but how do you create this 10 of Pentacles, this healthy coexistence with people who maybe just see the world so very differently? So anyway, the ring-tailed lemur is the only lemur species that is not nocturnal. In fact, this lemur is so unlike his cousins that he would literally die without the sun's energy. If there was ever a teacher for how to harness and use the sun for healing and life-giving sustainability, the lemur is it. Ring-tailed lemurs get into a meditation position and turn their faces towards the sun, basking in its light for as long as possible each and every day. The sun literally gives them life, for without the heat from the sun, their bodies would get so cold they would die. This is the power of the sun. It literally gives new life to all that is around it, under it, and basking in its light. If you draw this card in a spread, it has the ability to heal the cards around it. Sun literally transforms the energy of those things in its presence so that they can be luminous. But the sun can also burn, kill, and destroy, for it is nothing more than a contained ball of fire, spewing its energy throughout our galaxy. Lucky for you, the lemur is here to teach you how to deal with this unpredictable force. So it's interesting. So the lemur, or the sun card, can heal the energy of any of the cards around it. So, it can heal this devil energy. It can heal this codependence, this unhealthy toxicity, and also, I feel like even it can heal the priestess card, because sometimes we are so intuitively connected to other people, and when those people are in a very negative frame of mind, that can be very draining. Their energy can really mess with our own energy. And sometimes we can have intuitions, like we can have this sense of knowing things about people that are just very disturbing, honestly. And so I feel like there is so much healing here. We have the divine physician with Raphael. You might want to work specifically with Raphael, who is, the healer of archangels. All of the angels have a very healing presence, but specifically Archangel Raphael. Okay, and I'm also going to read her oracle messages. She has 3 areas of life that she gives a message for, and I'm going to read for all of them, because even though I think this is more focused on family and health and well-being, I feel like there may be messages in each of these areas of life, for different people who are watching. So for business and career, she says, so many business owners hide away from those who need them. You would think that asking people to leave their desks and come outside was the worst thing in the world. But you can't stay behind your desk forever. Well, okay, you can, but eventually your business will die. Lemur wants you to come out from hiding and allow others to bask in the light that only you and your business can offer. So for family and relationships, she says, if ever there was any doubt that this was the right relationship for you, the sun is here to cast those doubts out once and for all. The sun illuminates the path to happiness, so allow the light in. Don't let fears or past hurts cloud or darken this current situation. Instead, lift your head to the sky and allow the sun to kiss you gently as it reassures you of good times to come. So yeah, I feel like whoever this is about, and maybe this is a love relationship, maybe it's family or a friend or whoever, but whoever you need to have this forgiveness for, whoever there's this codependence and toxicity with, again, there is reassurance, and I think you already know that this can be more healed. You know that this isn't someone you have to completely remove from your life, but there is healing that is needed in order to make this relationship function in a more joyful way. And the lemur is reassuring you that that is possible and probable. Health and well-being. There is a certain amount of innocence to the lemur. He honors without thinking. He heals because he knows how to. And he makes no excuses about the time he needs to take to be healthy and happy. Wow. That's very important, because I feel like in a lot of codependent situations, we are made to feel like it's selfish for us to focus on our own needs for health and healing. Lemur is saying you don't have to make excuses for that. If you need to take time to heal yourself, then that's the time that you need, and there aren't any apologies necessary for that. The lemur just intuitively does what he needs to do to be complete and whole. So here, maybe this is more about what the high priestess is telling us, like you already are intuitively in touch yourself as well with what your healing process requires. No fuss, no worries, and no drama. He is just being who he is. There is much wisdom in this innocent act. So Lisa Robertson, who wrote this guidebook, she also provides these journal prompts, and I'm going to read those to you as well so that you can consider them for yourself and get really more into the heart of what lemur's message is specifically to you. The first question is, do you welcome the light, or do you fear what it will expose? How do you honor that which sustains you? Do you keep a list of all the positive things that happen in your daily life? So just some things to think about. So that's for you to do more work on your own if you'd like to. If not, hopefully you got a really helpful message out of the reading in the video. So guys, if you want to see future videos from me, like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye. All right, folks, this is reading number 4 for people who chose... Oh, so for people who chose reading number 4, and your animal is the snail. Snail is walking up this 10 of Wands. Snail is represented by the 10 of Wands card. We'll also have the 4 of Swords, the 7 of Wands. We have Coco meowing in the background. Horus, Cosmic Gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. You are protected. Archangel Michael. Believe in yourself. Divination. Okay, and a blessing on a battle that cannot be avoided. Okay. So far with the messages, what I'm doing first before I get into what the guidebook says about the spirit animal, which in this case is the snail, I'm just going to look at the cards that are already on the table and try to kind of see what the message seems to be. And then when we get into the Oracle guidebook, it should kind of further elaborate on what that message is. So we have a blessing on a battle that cannot be avoided. We also have you are protected. The 10 of Wands is also about like feeling very burdened. The 7 of Wands is about feeling kind of like you have to be on guard against people who may be trying to attack you or create conflict with you. So I do feel like part of the message is just that you are going to be protected against some sort of hardship, some sort of difficulty, some battle that just can't be avoided. There's some sort of difficult life event. And I feel like this, whatever this difficulty is, this is actually helping you to create miraculous change. This is sort of a gateway towards like a real, like profound kind of like cosmic upgrade or spiritual upgrade. But it's not going to be easy. I feel like you are, you know, with the divination card, there is something that is very fated here. And it's going to be difficult, but I feel that also you, I think you're doing a good job of like having faith that everything's going to be okay. Like I feel like you're still, even though this is difficult, you're still able to rest easy at night because you do have faith. I feel like you are kind of believing in yourself, but you're also believing that you are protected. So I feel like Spirit is wanting to really commend you for that, for having faith in whatever this process is, and understanding that although you're having to stand your ground against some sort of conflict or battle, you're seeing the benefit in it. You're seeing that there is some sort of gateway here that is bringing you more fortune in a sense. Like this is leading you through some archway to greater fortunate circumstances. So yeah, that's what I'm getting for you guys. I do want to go ahead and just get into the guidebook for you all and see more about what snail is all about. See if the message in the book seems to corroborate what we've said so far. If not, there may be like a secondary meaning to this reading for you guys beyond what we've already said. So here we have 10 of Wands, snail. So first, this little quote here is a message from the snail spirit animal. My hide-and-seek abilities connect me to the rebirthing power of the soul in its many physical forms, and my slimy silver trails track the natural magnetic pull of the earth. The word magnetic is also on this card. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. Anyway, my slimy silver trails track the natural magnetic pull of the earth as I travel through my physical life. I am totally contained on this journey and need nothing more than what and who I am. Allow me to show you how you can travel your own path unencumbered and unrestricted. Interesting. Snails are such interesting little creatures with their spiral shells and their slimy trails, not to mention their ability to pull their whole body into their shell and back out again. Have you ever noticed how right after the rain you see an abundance of snails in the garden? This is because snails don't travel in the rain or in extreme cold, or in the heat for that matter. They wait until they have the perfect set of conditions to travel in. The 10 of Wands lets you know that you have traveled to the end of the suit of Wands. With each card, you learned a new lesson, and now you hold its power inside of you. But to know if you truly understand this power, you first have to lay down the physical wands. From this point forward, there is no need to continue carrying the past around with you. The conditions are now right for you to unburden yourself and start a fresh journey. Interesting. So I think more than the other readings, this really veers a little bit from what the message was that I was kind of channeling in the beginning. But it is sort of like a gateway because you are realizing now that, you know, there are battles in life that can't be avoided, but, you know, when you get to a certain point, like you can lay down those burdens and rest with the Four of Swords. Like you can lay down those burdens and really rest. You don't always have to be on guard as well. You can trust that you're protected and you don't have to constantly be on the defensive. So what's the business and career meaning for Snail? If ever there was a time to delegate, it would be now. You are trying to carry too much of the load, and if you continue, you will trip, fall, and hurt not only yourself, but your professional reputation too. It takes a strong leader to know when to let things go and when you need to focus your energy on more important things. For family and relationships, the 10 of Wands in a relationship reading lets you know that you have taken on more than you can actually handle. Your own needs, wants, and desires have gotten lost in the pile, and now you feel weighed down and heavy. If you do not rectify this quickly, all of this fiery energy will quickly ignite into anger and resentment. For health and well-being, this card represents the load you are carrying, the weight that you have been carrying around with you, both physically and vibrationally. The snail lets you know that you don't need it. You have never needed it, and now it is time to let it go. Now, Lisa Robertson, who wrote this, she also includes these 3 journal prompts, and I am going to read these aloud to you guys so that you can even make this reading more personal for you if you want to, continue to work with snail, spirit, animal, and really get to the heart of the message that typically bringing to you. So the first question is, do you have a problem saying no to others? If so, why? What lessons have you learned that you no longer need to keep learning? Where are you currently feeling anger and resentment towards others? So if you want to kind of write those messages down for yourself and really, maybe do some journal writing, or just really think deeply, be contemplative about, what your answers are to those questions. Could be that you could even find an even deeper message from the spirit animal, from the snail spirit animal. So guys, I hope that you really enjoyed this reading. I will see you around, and if you'd like to see my future videos, make sure you're subscribed. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you later. Bye guys. Alright, this is the reading for people who chose number 5. We've got the turtle or the tortoise spirit animal wanting to work with you, and this is representing the 9 of Pentacles. We have the 6 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles. We have Master Buddha, increased awareness, deep connection, trust your inner voice. We have connect with music, make a wish, transparency, and a blessing to heal a relationship. So it's interesting. We have some other readings where the 5 of Pentacles and the 6 of Swords have shown up. Okay. All right, so what I'm doing in these readings is I'm kind of just looking at the cards that are on the table first, and then we'll get into the guidebook meaning to tell us more about what the turtle or tortoise spirit animal is specifically all about. But I do feel like, we have a blessing to heal a relationship. The 6 of Swords to me also is about healing, and in this particular deck, it's sort of like, like she's kind of like sailing off. She's got these 2 people with her, but she's looking back at someone as well. Like there is someone that she is needing to leave behind. There are people who she's taking forward with her in life, but there are also people who she's leaving behind, and we see all these autumn leaves. So this is autumn. Things that don't serve her are being shed from her life. We also have the moon here, so I feel like this speaks to cycles. It doesn't mean that whoever she's having to leave behind has to be out of her life forever, but I feel like those of you who chose number 5, you are going through a process of healing and like really deciding who you want to focus your energy on right now. In terms of healing relationships, there might be some people who you need to move away from right now. There may be other people who the healing with them requires actually really working through those difficulties. So I feel like you're being asked to have clarity about, who's who here. Like, who is it that you need to move away from in order to achieve more healing with that relationship? And who are the people who you need to like stick with and really work through these tough times in order to achieve the greatest healing with them? Master Buddha, I feel like, is, teaching you to have this greater awareness of how different relationships that require healing will also require different approaches to healing. Sometimes with people, we really have to, get some distance from them in order to allow wounds to heal. And in other kinds of relationships, we are meant to really struggle through it together, because there's something about the collective process of working through those tough times that actually is what creates the healing. So I feel like, whatever approach you're using with whichever people, you are being asked to be very transparent. So if you are choosing to move away from someone, be honest, be open, and let them know, like, hey, I feel like the best thing for us right now is for us to spend some time apart. That our energy colliding with each other right now is just not achieving anything for us, for our benefit. And for people who you feel like you really need to stick around with and work through the process, you need to be very open and honest and transparent with that person or those people about, like, what are your true emotions? Like, let's have maybe there are some difficult conversations that need to be had, and you're not going to be able to have this healing occur unless you can really be very honest and present and genuine with that person or those people about what your true feelings are. Also, I get a lot of violet energy in these three cards especially, and this woman here, this angel, she's looking up at this violet star. Like, I do feel like you guys are really, whether you realize it or not, you're very connected with maybe your higher self, your guides, your angels. Like, you're very connected to higher level energies, like intuitive guidance. You're connected to intuitive guidance about whatever these relationships are that require healing. I feel like with the Make-A-Wish card, it's also like, I feel like this is more about like turning to prayer and really also just envisioning this healing having taken place. Like, what would it look like? What would it be like for this healing to already have occurred? With the Nine of Pentacles as well, this is someone who has created a very healthy, sustainable life for themselves. It's a beautiful life that, if they decide to, once these people that they have separated from or moved away from, once that separation has allowed some more healing to occur, they've created this very beautiful, abundant life that they can then welcome people into if they choose. And if they choose not to, that's a choice they can make as well. So then we got, connect with music. Thank you, angels, for inspiring me through music. So I do feel like you may also find a great deal of your healing within relationships through music. Listening to music, making music, playing instruments, singing. So let's go to the guidebook to see more about what turtle or tortoise wants to say for those of you who chose number 5. If I can find it. Okay. Tortoise. Okay. I'm not really sure what the difference is. Or do you know? I do not know. Okay. So she starts out with a quote from the tortoise spirit animal, you already have all that you need right where you are. So take it easy, slow down, and just this once allow yourself to stop and smell the roses. It is okay to relax for a moment because where you are is safe and protected. Here in this garden, no one needs or wants anything from you. Relax, take a deep breath, and count your blessings. The tortoise is one of the earth's gentle giants. He moves at his own slow pace, carrying all of his worldly possessions wherever he goes. Everything he could possibly need is right there in his shelf, fully protected and hidden away from prying eyes. Living well over 100 years, these gentle giants move to their own time. A much slower time, a time where all is provided and everything comes exactly when it is meant to and not a second before. The Nine of Pentacles is more a card of how to build and sustain resources over the long term. There is nothing short term about this card. The garden in which the Pentacles and the tortoise find themselves also shows how things grow, change, and rejuvenate over time. The Nine of Pentacles offers a lesson about stamina and the long haul. Do what needs to be done so that what you need in the future will already be taken care of. Regarding business and career, the message is, when it comes to business, it's very easy to get caught up in the making of money. But money itself comes and goes. What stays is wealth. Wealth and money are not the same thing, and they require two totally different mindsets. Which mindset are you using to build your business? For family and relationships, the tortoise moves slowly. It's not in a hurry. Instead, it takes time to enjoy the scenery. Can you say the same with your relationship? Are you taking the time to enjoy where you are right now with your partner? Or are you too busy worrying about what comes next? This card lets you know that everything you need for this relationship to grow is already there. You just need to be present and aware of it in the moment. Health and well-being. How would you like to have the life expectancy and health of a tortoise? If so, you need to be more like the tortoise. Slow down. Take your time in all things, including eating and learning to enjoy the current space you occupy. Health is not a race to the finish. It is an ongoing form of dedication and devotion to your physical vessel, and this takes time. So I'm also going to read her card of the day journal prompts because I feel like this may allow you to connect more fully with tortoise and the tortoise's medicine for you specifically as you contemplate your own answers to these journal prompt questions. Are you chasing money, or are you interested in building wealth? Do you need to slow down and take the time to really explore all the gifts you already have? Where do you need to protect what you have so it can grow and multiply? All right, so guys, I hope that you enjoyed that message and got something helpful out of it. If you are not currently a subscriber and you want to get future readings, make sure to subscribe. And if you liked this reading, give it a thumbs up. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye. All right, so this is the message for people who chose reading number 6. Your spirit animal is the ox, which is the strength card. And then we have the 7 of cups, the page of wands. We have Hilarion, divine healing. A lot of the messages today have been about healing, which is not, I don't think that's unusual because, we talk about spirit animals in terms of the medicine that they give us. So spirit animals do generally work with us towards healing. So we have the unconditional love, the divine mother card. We have divine purpose, wave of power. Ooh, and this is nice. A blessing on the senses that gift the world to you. So we also have here bumblebee spirit animal, so that might be a significant message for you guys as well. So we have a bumblebee on this card. But ox is primarily the animal that is wanting to come forward and speak with you. And I'm going to get into the Oracle book message in a moment to see more about what Lisa Robertson, who created this deck, to see what she has to say about the ox. But I also kind of want to look at just what the cards that are already on the table seem to be indicating. So we have the Strength card, the Seven of Cups. I feel that a lot of you are going through a very confusing emotional experience that is requiring a lot of inner strength. You're definitely having to carry a lot of weight, metaphorically speaking. I do feel like this is probably more of a message for love life for a lot of you, because we see here in this card, like, she's got all of these cups that are being offered to her, but the cup with the heart in it is the one that's drawing her attention. It really feels like that's what she is more focused on and what she is feeling like will be most fulfilling to her right now is love, specifically romantic love. I kind of feel like this card says, honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. And this is a blessing on the senses that gift the world to you. Like, I feel like you all are very sensitive people. I get that here as well, but like, it's maybe sometimes you feel burdened by your sensitivity, and especially in terms of your romantic life, maybe you get your feelings hurt a lot, or it's just very confusing to you, or you may even feel sometimes that people take advantage of you, even like, with the Page of Wands. I feel some of you may feel sexually taken advantage of at times, or that people are just interested in you for that one thing, and you are like, but I need to be loved, you're seeking this unconditional love, and maybe you're having, it's confusing. You're like, how do I get there? It's like you want to supplicate yourself, like she's not seeing this beautiful rainbow behind her, but she's just in this state of turmoil because, she just, I feel like those of you who chose this reading are having a difficult time finding healing, maybe specifically in the area of your romantic life. But then there are times, or like maybe you're moving more into the energy of really knowing how beautiful and wonderful you are, like experiencing this wave of power, a surge of power, upswing in energy, exhilarating movement. You're just knowing, like, I love all the beautiful colors in this deck. Like, you're knowing your sweetness, you're knowing your goodness, you're feeling very sensual, and it's like you are in this place of like, understanding more about how can you connect with people in a romantic way in which, it is sensual rather than just sexual, where there is unconditional love, but also there is that physical aspect of it that satisfies you on the level of your earthly senses as well. I really feel like you all are just going through a process of learning what all that is about. Like, how can you have that romantic love that comes from the heart space, that heart chakra energy, but a love that also satisfies like these like earthly desires as well, like these the more sensual desires. The Seven of Cups in general, like, I feel is a very you know, it's not so much in this deck, but in a lot of decks, I feel like it just seems like a very, almost like self-destructive energy, because it's someone who is, this is someone who's like looked for love in all the wrong places, someone who's been very self-destructive in their search for romantic love. You know, and then there's the Page of Wands, which is someone who may have tried to find their heart being fulfilled through having sex, maybe even casual sex. I'm not saying that you did that, but I'm just, you know, like if you did, there's no judgment against it either. I mean, we all have our own life's journey to go through. Sometimes people get mad at me when I say things, and a lot of times when I say certain things, like once I used the phrase hippie granola and someone got mad and thought that I was making fun of hippies. Well, I myself am very hippie granola, you know, like I'm not going to give you too much TMI about my personal life, but what I have said in this reading is something that resonates for me as well. So I'm definitely not judging anyone for their own personal experience, but I feel that you are coming to a place of really understanding all of this better, and you are able to approach romantic love in a way that is much healthier, perhaps, than how you have approached it in the past. So I do want to get into the ox and see more about what Lisa Robertson, who wrote this guidebook for the Animal Totem Tarot, what she has to say about ox. So first we start out with a message from the ox. It is not always easy to keep going, to take yet another chance, or to start all over again. But sometimes the path that we choose requires us to do the very things that seem the hardest to pull off. There are no guarantees along the paths of life, and the only way to find out what we will encounter is to walk these paths. Standing still is not an option in the physical world. Like it or not, we all have to make our way along the karmic path. Each step is a victory. Each tear is a reminder, and each mile gets us closer to where we are headed. Dig deep, little one, for you have more walking to do on this path you call life. I am pretty sure you have heard the phrase, as strong as an ox, which originates from the fact that an ox can pull twice its body weight. Oxen have been used for transportation and for farming for centuries. In some third world countries, they still are used and are an important part of the local economy. But when you look at the image of the ox, what exactly do you see? One could say that the image shows the brute strength of the ox pulling a heavy load. In other words, a picture of the ox being used for transportation. Or you could say that the ox shows how it can be of service to someone other than himself by offering his natural resource, physical strength. But what does strength actually mean? You see, there is more to strength than just physical muscle or brute force. There is emotional strength, mental strength, and of course, courage. I have always thought that courage and strength seem to be interlinked in the meaning and working of this card. Look at the path the ox must walk with his load. This can represent the road to anything you are trying to achieve or just starting to begin. It takes time to build muscles, will, and resolve. Courage is not something that happens overnight. It happens from working up to a dynamic change in circumstances. Just like the ox, your strength will come one step at a time. I do just want to point out, because I did feel like we were getting this message of maybe people have felt like they were used sexually in the past, and we get this message here like, is the ox being used? That's one way of looking for it, or looking at it. Another way would be, is the ox being of service to someone else? So I feel like, it's there are times when we can make choices about how we approach things, and if you are making a choice that makes you feel used, that probably is not a choice that you should keep making. The Seven of Cups, is also about making choices. And like I said, to me, this card in most decks really resonates with like a kind of like, it has like an obsessive energy, a bit self-destructive. And so you might keep putting yourself into situations where, you're making choices that end up, causing you to feel used. And, there is the ability to sort of like change the way that you've been approaching your life. So business and career. If you are new to business or have been in a business for a while now, you know that being your own boss takes courage. Like the ox's path, it is not an easy one, and not everyone is able to walk it. But you are walking it, and that takes guts. Just for today, list all of the times you have had to dig deep and find that inner strength to achieve your business goals. Celebrating the triumphs makes the walk easier. So the third area of life that she approaches with an oracle message is family and relationships. Sometimes people forget that relationships are not battlegrounds. When we find someone to journey with, we are not in competition with them, nor are we waging a war of wills against them. Check in and see how you are using your muscles in your current relationship. Are you supporting your partner, or are you throwing your weight around and making life for both of you tense and insecure? For health and well-being, she says, the path to health and healing is not an easy one. Many of us start off like the ox in this card, weighed down and pulling the past behind us. Yet as we continue to walk, not only do we see the need to drop some of that weight, but we also begin to build muscle to help us move forward. No matter where you find yourself on your healing path, just keep going, keep moving, keep letting go of the weight, and keep building muscles. Finally, she has these journal prompt questions, which I am also going to read out to you because I feel like if you are interested, you can journal on these, or you can just take some time in quiet contemplation and think about what your answers are to these questions. And you can work more fully with the ox in order to determine how the ox's medicine relates to your own life specifically, so you can make this more of an individual message for yourself. The first question is, what muscles do you currently need to build? Metaphorically. How can your personal strengths help those around you? Are you throwing your weight around instead of supporting someone you love? All right, so if you'd like, you can go ahead and just consider those questions for yourself on your own time. But guys, I hope you've gotten a good message out of this reading. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.